In the summer of 2022, the Northern Hemisphere experienced widespread drought. Although much media attention in the United States has focused on the dwindling size of Lake Mead and Lake Powell in the American West, there's a problem all over the world. Several well-known waterways in Europe have dried up, and the BBC stated on August 24th that this is the most severe drought the continent has seen in 500 years. The biggest freshwater lake and the longest river in China are drying up. Over 22 million individuals in the Horn of Africa could go hungry due to the current drought. This video is going to be about the world's worst drought ever 2022, drought victims. Extreme and prolonged drought swept the world from Europe and China to the United States and Africa in the summer of 2022, causing widespread power outages and a sharp rise in food prices. Droughts have plagued parts of the United States like California for decades, leading to widespread water shortages across the nation. But in other parts of the world, historic droughts impact everything from farming to the transportation of energy. Cities in the United Kingdom and elsewhere currently experiencing heat and drought may lack the necessary infrastructure to cope with such conditions. Moreover, due to the prolonged high temperatures and lack of moisture, any precipitation that does occur is likely to lead to floods. Even though China and other sites are transforming to innovative solutions such as cloud seeding to at least safeguard farmland, warmer temperatures are highly probable to get harsher in the coming years, leading to even further drought. And this season's widely spread drought does not paint a particularly optimistic portrait for our collective global temperature future. That implies more forest fires, more trouble for farmers, especially in developing nations, and more people being forced to move because of drought and hunger. What leads to droughts? Droughts have existed throughout human history, contributing to disastrous results, including hunger and population relocation. The Dust Bowl of the 1930s was the worst drought in the United States history. It was brought on by a combination of conditions, including dry season, hot temperatures, and severe financial distress due to the Great Depression, all of which led to yield loss, economic hardship, and dislocation across parts of Colorado, Oklahoma, Texas, Kansas, and New Mexico. Droughts have recently affected large portions of North America, the Horn of Africa, China, the United Kingdom, and most of Europe. Their origins may lie in more than one factor. Droughts are often the result of abnormally high temperatures and minimal precipitation. Aside from the fact that water evaporates faster at higher temperatures, precipitation is also more likely to come as rain rather than snow during periods of increased warmth. The world is awash with droughts. Arizona and California. Snowpack, or accumulations of snow that have remained frozen owing to cold weather and will eventually dissolve as the temperature rises, is a major supply of water in California and the American West. Therefore, reduced snowpack due to increased heat means reduced reliable water supply. And this trend is likely to continue throughout the next few centuries, resulting in drought. Drought on the Colorado River and declining water amounts in Lake Powell and Lake Mead have had a negative impact on agriculture in portions of California and Arizona. Although some farmers have recently reduced their use of Colorado River water, more reductions will be essential as the drought shows no sign of ending. That's an issue because inflation has already caused food costs to skyrocket, causing hardship for many Americans. Africa. The Horn of Africa has been experiencing terrible drought for 40 years due to 4 consecutive wet seasons with below average precipitation. Even though populations in the region that includes Ethiopia, Kenya, and Somalia knew to prepare and plan for infrequent droughts, in 2022, the 2 or 3 times rainfalls failed to materialize yet again, driving millions closer to salvation. The Daya, or autumn rainy month, generally extends from October to December in both 2020 and 2021, was significantly drier than usual. As per NASA's Earth Observatory, the GU in 2021 typically observed between March and May also failed to materialize. Ashutosh Lamay, a researcher at NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center, stated in January, "These back-to-back blows are hard for the farmers to take. The challenge is not just the soil moisture or the rainfall anomalies, it is the population's resilience to drought." China. Hubei and Chongqing in China are experiencing droughts, whereas other western regions are seeing significant rain. Temperatures have hit 113 degrees Fahrenheit in Chongqing, while in this past week, temperatures in the province of Sichuan-Jingwen County touched 110 degrees Fahrenheit. The Yangtze River, China's largest and major waterway, has become parched in some areas due to the intense heat. According to the local emergency authorities, This drought has severely harmed crops and restricted the availability of drinking water in the Hubei province. Additionally, the electricity generated by the world's largest dam, Three Gorges, decreased nearly 40% from the previous year. Although many regions in China rely on coal to generate electricity, Sichuan is experiencing energy rationing due to the heat and drought, with officials ordering enterprises to close and save energy. In addition, the droughts have reduced the amount of hydroelectric power available. China is also using cloud seeding to boost crop yields, which involves injecting clouds with silver iodide to cause them to condense into ice crystals. According to Laura Kuhl of the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists, cloud seeding technology has existed since the 1940s, even though many nations, including the United States, have research initiatives in this area. However, Kuhl contends that this isn't a long-term fix because, among other things, it doesn't deal with the root cause of climate change or support other mitigation measures. In addition, experts are unsure of the effectiveness of cloud seeding and how it may change long-term hydrological patterns. There may be additional, as of yet unknown effects, such as toxic accumulation from the silver iodide frequently employed to induce condensation. Europe. The record heat and drought particularly affect the UK and other parts of Europe. According to Axios, temperatures last week in the UK hit 104 degrees Fahrenheit and nearly 109 degrees Fahrenheit in southeastern France. As a result, parts of France, Spain and Portugal have been devastated by wildfires, and rivers in Italy and Germany are so low that warships and bombs from World War II are being exposed. According to a report from last week, dryness has been caused in some parts of England by combining 2 heat waves and record rainfall shortfalls. Although droughts are not unheard of in this region, the combination of record temperatures and low rainfall has contributed to fires in July and August in London, which the London Fire Brigade was ill-equipped to fight due to staff and funding cuts, Emergency Services Union officials. This is the first official drought the nation has experienced since 2018. The drought adds to the strain that Europe is already suffering from the energy shortages brought on by the sanctions imposed on Russian fuel shipments. Germany's weak rivers make it unsafe for ships carrying coal to travel them, while Norway's hydropower output, which accounts for around 90% of the nation's energy supply, hasn't been this low in more than 20 years. Effects on ecosystem. Ecosystems gradually transform into carbon sources, particularly during periods of acute drought that are observable on 5 of the 6 continents. Peatland fires brought on by drought in Indonesia reduced biodiversity, including the variety and number of plant species. Wildfires are becoming more frequent and intense, endangering 84% of terrestrial ecosystems. By 2050, 16% of the region's remaining forests may burn if the Amazonian deforestation doesn't stop. Effects on society as a whole. Between 2002 and 2010, total agricultural productivity decreased by 18% due to the Australian Millennium Drought. Regarding educational levels, nutrition, health, sanitation and safety, women and girls in emerging and developing nations experience more burdens and suffering. Droughts have significant, pervasive and underappreciated effects on economies, ecosystems and societies. Only a tiny part of the losses are considered. According to a case study conducted in 2017 in California, a decrease of 11 to 18% in average household water use was correlated with an increase in roughly 100 drought stories over 2 months. Predictable futures. In many sensitive areas of the world, especially those with high population expansion, vulnerable populations, and issues with food security, climate change is predicted to increase the likelihood of droughts. In the coming decades, 129 nations will see a rise in their vulnerability to drought, mainly due to climate change, 23 due to population expansion, and 38 due to the interplay between population growth and climate change. As some experts project, drought losses might be 5 times more than they are today if global warming increases by 3 degrees Celsius by 2100, with the Mediterranean and Atlantic regions of Europe experiencing the greatest increases. Without substantial climate action, annual losses from droughts in the EU and UK are expected to increase by more than €65 billion from the present estimate of about €9 billion. That's all there is for today. Leave us a comment with your thoughts on the world's worst drought ever 2022. Also, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to our channel if you enjoyed the video, and click the notification bell to never miss our videos. Stay tuned.